I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and I thought today I would show you my T.B.R. cart and what's on it. So I am filming this in January. There are a couple of books that I have not got on here because I will be reading them in January. Fingers crossed I actually get to them. But if you have followed along with any of my book hauls, you'll kind of sort of know what's on here, but I thought I would show you what's currently unread. Now, this TBR cart sits right next to my front door because I live in a one-bedroom apartment, so it's pretty tight on space. I did used to keep these on shelves in my bookshelves, but then I ran out of room, and I currently have 2 shelves of books. So this one has 2 rows, this one has 1 row, and then some teaching stuff here and just behind it, as well as all my face masks by the door so that I can grab them on the way out. Down the bottom I have a stack of book sleeves, which I actually don't need all this many, so I am going to clear some of these out at some point. And then all my extra essential oils. So I have a couple of boxes where I store them, and these are all the doubles and things that I have so that I can just replace them. So yes, I thought I would show you. So I thought I would start with the teaching books because these sort of travel everywhere. Teaching books. Becoming a Meaning Maker, Talk and Interaction in the Dialogic Classroom by Christine Edwards-Groves and Christina Davidson. Been meaning to read this one for ages, I still haven't done it yet. Visible Learning for Teachers, Maximising Impact on Learning by John Hattie. I did inherit this from another teacher at my school who retired. Yes, again, I still have not read it. I should say some of these are also books that I have brought home over the holidays just to refresh my memory before the start of the year. So there is A Teacher's Guide to Writing Workshop Essentials, Time, Choice and Response for K-5. This is by Katie Ray Wood. I really love this series. They're fantastic. The other one that I have in that series is A Teacher's Guide to Writing Conferences, Grades K-8 by Carl Anderson. This is also fantastic. Which other ones have I read? Notebook Know-How, Strategies for the Writer's Notebook by Aimee Buckner. Again, fantastic. Lots of great ways to incorporate writers' notebooks in the classroom. And also sort of the Bible for Writer's Notebook, A Writer's Notebook by Roth, Fletcher. Again, this one is super short, and this one is actually extremely kid-friendly. I think it's even been written for kids, but is fantastic for teachers. I desperately need to read this one, Facilitating Teacher Teams and Authentic PLCs by Danielle Venables. We are moving into PLCs this year at school, so I need to read that like yesterday. There is Think Big with Think Alouds. This one is by Ness. This is all about using texts in the classroom to prompt thinking. I have sort of flicked through that one, but I need to sit down and unpack it in a bit more depth. There is Interactive Writing Across the Grades, A Small Practice with Big Results, and this is by Kate Roth and Joan Dabrowski. I'm hoping to do a little bit more with interactive writing in 2022, so I desperately want to pick that one up as well when we'll have the time. I don't always feel like picking up nonfiction books. I'm really, really bad at this. This is not something that I'm strong in, but you know, we'll try and do it. And the last one is The Right Thing by Kwame Alexander. This one I think is for slightly older students, but I'm going to definitely give it a shot and then possibly share it with some of my senior school teachers. Then we come to the books on the shelf. We have Black Sun, which I'm supposed to be reading in January, so hopefully this gets read at some point. There is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. The Monster of Her Age by Danielle Binks. This is middle grade, but it is Aussie middle grade, and I really, really want to read it. Danielle Binks is awesome. Follow her on Instagram, she's great. There is How to Mend a Broken Heart by Rachael Johns. This came in a subscription box. Anyway, Australian romance, possibly women's fiction, I don't know. We'll get to it at some point. The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. The book that I keep putting off because I just don't want this to be over. River of Dreams by Anita Heiss. Anita Heiss is an Indigenous author. She's amazing. This was her book that she released last year. It does have 2 covers. I would like to say that I could pronounce this, but I would butcher it in the traditional language, but it is titled River of Dreams. Something else I should have read last year, That's Way by Darcy Little Badger. I can't wait to pick this up. I know so many people who have loved it. Star Wars The High Republic Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. It's a Star Wars book. I was always going to have it to read. I'll get to it at some point. And then The Extraordinaries and Flash Fire by TJ Klune, because it's TJ Klune. Okay, moving on to the second shelf. I have another Star Wars book. There is Star Wars Thrawn Ascendancy, because I love the Thrawn series, but I just haven't picked this one up yet. The way that I typically work with the Thrawn series is that I buy one, I hold on to it until the next one is released, buy the next one, read the one that I haven't read yet, and then keep the new one on the shelf until the next one comes out. Phosphorescence, On All Wonder and Things That Sustain You When the World Goes Dark by Julia Bard. I probably should read this sooner rather than later because the world is rather bleak at the moment. Follow Me Darkly by Helen Hart. This was sent to me in a subscription box, but I still have not read it yet. I'm assuming this is some kind of dark romance, erotic type story. The Other Side of Perfect by Mariko Turk. This was sent to me unsolicited for review, so I will pick it up at some point. It is YA. Shackleton's Endurance by Joanna Groshowicz. I think this is an Antarctic survival story. Now, I do like things set in Antarctica. This again was an unsolicited review copy. I believe it's middle grade, so we will get to it at some point. Just like everything else on this cart. Another unsolicited review copy was the young adult title Off the Map by Scott Gardner. I have no idea what it's about, but it's fairly short. So I'm hoping that with my alphabet challenge this year that I will be able to pick up some of these things that I wouldn't normally reach for because they're not things that I would mood read, but they can go on some TBR challenge lists. There is Hollowpox by Jessica Townsend. This is the third book in the Morrigan Crow series, which I've had this for ages. I just need to read it. That is Australian middle grade fantasy. There is The Edge of 13 by Nova Wheatman. This one, why did I buy this one? This is Australian middle grade as well. I can't remember why I bought it, but I will eventually get to it. Maybe I should just do a middle grade reading vlog at some point during the year. There is The Dark Archive by Genevieve Cogman. This is one of the books in the, oh my gosh, why have I forgotten the series title? I love this series, but the title eludes me. The Invisible Library series. Invisible libraries and dragons and librarians who travel to parallel universes. Like, I love this series. I have a feeling there's only one or two more books after this one. I can't remember, but I need to read it. The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. I bought this one because Leanne from Literary Diversions talked about it so well, and I do want to read it. And also The Rose Daughter by Maria Lewis. I do really love Maria Lewis's work. She writes very urban fantasy style books with some romance elements in it, depending on what it is. And I always like having one of her books to read on my shelf because I do get to them eventually. And then we have a stack of historical romances that I bought completely randomly when I was reading historical romance at the start of last year. Let's see what I have. I have Some Like It Scandalous by Maya Rodale. All Scott and Bothered by Kerrigan Byrne. I have actually read Kerrigan Byrne. I do like her historical romances. And also How to Love a Duke in 10 Days by Kerrigan Byrne. Olivia Waite, I love. She writes sapphic historical romances. This one is The Hellions Waltz, so that was the new release last year. This one's super short. I should just pick it up. I have a few Sarah MacLean books. There is Never Judge a Lady by her cover. No Good Duke Goes Unpunished. This one does have a very lovely step back. And One Good Earl Deserves a Lover. Again, this one has a lovely step back. I have a Sophie Jordan book. There is The Virgin and the Rogue from the Rogue Files. I have another Tessa Dare. Do You Want to Start a Scandal? I do love Tessa Dare. Tessa Dare was my intro to historical romance, so I should keep reading her books. I also have The Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shoup. This one I'm not sure I'm going to keep because I have read the second book in the series and I wasn't thrilled, and I know that this one was not as popular as the second book, so this one may or may not stay. And then the last one is Megan Frampton's Tall, Duke and Dangerous. So that's everything on my TBR cart that I'm hopefully going to be working my way through this year. My aim is to get to one shelf. I could live with one shelf. Mostly I have transitioned to being an ebook reader and I buy the books physically if I really love it and want to put it on my shelf. So I'm kind of trying to work towards that, but we shall see. If there's anything you think that I need to read sooner rather than later, definitely let me know in the comments. Otherwise, you can leave a book stack emoji down if you just want to let me know that you're here. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.